Hello and welcome to another edition of Son of Kaiju Review. I'm Protomit,
I'm Tank.
and today it's summer,
Mm-hmm.
so we'll be talking about the Meg.
The Meg.
The Meg?
The Meg.
The Meg.
The Meg. The Megalodon.
This is based on the Steve Alton book, Meg, which, spoiler alert, I prefer, but...
I have not read it, so I don't have no insight.
yeah. Granted, I can understand a lot of the changes that were made to between the book and the movie to get it not a R rating.
It's PG-13, I believe.
Yeah, this movie is PG-13. It's your standard shark attack movie, just with a giant shark.
Oh yeah. The plot's pretty interesting though too.
Yeah.
Should we start to talk about it?
I mean, I guess we gotta. So, undersea sub is in danger.
Mm-hmm. Another sub comes in to try to help them. Then stuff happens, and we'll move on.
Yeah, the sub winds up getting destroyed with two of the rescue team
Members.
still inside it. And unfortunately, the leader of the team, Jonas, played by Jason Statham, who we'll just refer to for the rest of the movie as Jason Statham.
Mm-hmm. Instead of Jonas.
Statham, is forced to make the hard decision of leaving behind his buddies in order to save the rescued divers.
Mm-hmm. And he ends up closing it, and the doctor of the group is like, "You're gonna kill them," and pretty much just blames them. But if he didn't sacrifice those two, the sub that's going to end up exploding would have blown up the other sub, so all of them would have been kind of effed.
Yeah, part of the theming of this movie is that people are more upset, or at least some of the scenes, some people are more upset about the lives that were lost rather than the ones that are saved.
Yeah.
And kind of the whole idea is that you can't save everybody, and that's not the overall theme of the movie. That's just the whole... People are upset at Jonas for what he wasn't able to do rather than what he was able to do.
Mm-hmm. He saved most. Only two had to be left behind.
Unfortunately, they were, the ones that everybody focuses on.
Yep.
But I digress. Flash forward sometime.
They're...
Rainn Wilson owns a company that is investigating the depths of the sea.
Yeah. And they find a place that is pretty much deeper than the Mariana Trench. And
right.
3 people that are going down in a sub that has also like a little robot thing that can...
Well, they're going down to investigate one of the rovers that went down and stopped responding, so...
Yeah, so...
among the crew of this mini sub is Jonas's ex-wife. We'll just refer to her as ex-wife because she's a minor character in this movie. The ex-wife in the book plays a much larger role in the book, but it's also a completely different character. So that's the last time I'm going to say anything about the book.
Okay.
Just know that the book is a completely different story, so it's out of the picture.
So they end up getting trapped underwater because something knocks their power out and stuff.
It's a giant shark,
Yep.
a megalodon, a once believed extinct species of shark. I mean, once being in this movie's lore, the megalodon did exist and has been extinct for a very, very long time. So,
I would really like to see just how big its tooth would be to the size of me.
I mean, you can. They've got the jaws in museums.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's about all you'll find of sharks, but...
Yeah.
Well, with them having no bones and all that.
No, the only bone is technically, literally, it's jaws.
I mean, for all we know, megalodons could have potentially looked nothing like sharks as we know them now.
Exactly.
But all we've got to go on is the jaws, and since jaws are the only things that remain for regular sharks, that's all we can do.
Exactly. So they end up. They're finding Jason Statham.
Yeah, one of Jason's old buddies, Mac,
Yep.
goes and gets in touch with him along with the scientist who's in charge of the expedition.
Mm-hmm. And
not Rainn Wilson, some other Chinese guy.
Yeah. So he ends. So Jason's literally pretty much has become a drunk in Thailand.
Yes.
Literally one
And
night.
he does not want to help out. It's only when he hears the recording of his ex-wife telling everybody that Jason was right.
Yep.
That he's even considering going back down to save people.
Yeah, so he's like, pretty much, he offers his buddy, Mac, and the other guy some beers, and just says, like, you're gonna ask me to dive again. I'm not gonna say yes.
You're gonna offer me money, and I'm not gonna say no. So why don't we just stick around and have some beers?
I'll let you finish. Then you guys can carry on. And then, like what Protomutt just said, he hears the recording of his ex-wife saying that Jason was right, and he's like, damn it.
Side note, have you ever read Godzilla History's Greatest Monster? Because that's basically a Godzilla story starring Jason Statham.
Really?
Yeah, the lead character is basically Jason Statham.
Well,
real fun read. I'll have to lend you that at some point, along with the other two parts of that trilogy of comics.
So then they end up going to this base, the base that's out at sea, I guess.
Yeah, it's like basically C-Lab.
Yeah.
From C-Lab 2020. And it's parody C-Lab 2021. Just with a lot less jokes.
Mm-hmm. So Jason ends up going down. Well, he actually gets to see what type of sub he's using. And he meets a little girl.
Who is the daughter of the lead scientist's daughter, who is herself a scientist.
Yes. So she's like, so you're the crazy guy. Don't call me that.
Why? Everybody else does.
Well, that may be a little bit fair.
Also one of the survivors of the first sub expedition from the beginning of the movie is the lead doctor.
Yeah.
Lead medical doctor in this movie.
And him and Jason Statham don't like each other at all because he tried to
get Jason committed after the incident at the beginning of the movie. And turns out Jason was right.
Oh, yeah.
Despite everything.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually the two do make amends.
Yeah.
Later on.
It's like literally halfway through the damn movie.
Yeah, so they're able to come to terms.
Mm-hmm.
But the scientist's daughter goes down in one of the subs, and then Jason has to follow her.
Yep.
She gets attacked by the shark.
It's like, it's a shark. It's a megalodon. It's like megalodon.
Anyway, he manages to save her, then goes down to get the guy stuck in the sub.
And, okay, before this all happened, they're back into the sunken sub they're trying to fix some things so they get some light or something like that. The Megalodon ends up attacking the...
They get the lights turned on, which attracts a Megalodon.
Yeah. And Jason's ex-wife ends up getting stabbed by a screwdriver.
It's not a pretty picture.
No, it was not.
I mean, it's still PG-13, but...
Yeah, it was some smidge blood, but not... You didn't see Mitch. It was just like the blood.
You'll see worse later with other non-human creatures.
Yeah.
Apparently it's okay to show in a PG-13 movie. Okay, whatever.
So Jason gets down to the sub. Ends up realizing that their hatch door wheel thing
is busted.
So he ends up having to break it off.
And improvise. Manages to get their hatch open, pulls up 2 of the 3 divers. Unfortunately, the third one locks himself in the sub in order to save the other 2. Mm-hmm. So
Jason gets that weird feeling he left somebody behind again, and then he gets back up onto the C lab and gets just berated by. But then one of the people pretty much explained he closed the hatch on himself.
Yeah. The guy who explained it was the friend of the guy who closed the hatch.
Oh, yeah, and he just technically, snapped at them. He sacrificed himself to save us.
That's not on Jonas there.
No.
I mean, Jason. He slipped out. I'm sorry, his true name slipped out.
His true name is Jason. So,
all right, grown up.
So they end up. Well, they're explaining how they could possibly try to kill this thing, and Jason goes in. When you're going man against Megalodon, it's more of a massacre,
a slaughter.
Yeah. And if you're going to do this, leave me out. Literally, he was trying to get off the
because this whole thing, he did manage to save some people, but it did reopen a couple old wounds.
Oh yeah.
But the fact that the Megalodon has now presented itself and has actually gone above the thermocline, so it's now in the main ocean.
Yeah.
That means it's a threat. But
The little girl is now playing with a remote control ball.
And she goes into one of the cordoned off areas that's still under construction.
To me, that kind of looked like one of the areas in BioShock.
Yeah.
I remember playing BioShock back in the day and just whacking the glass, and then it just fixes itself.
You whack it enough, your old attempts to whack it will just disappear.
Yep.
Because of course the game won't allow you to actually break the...
Exactly. It's just you're using a huge wrench to smack.
I mean, it'll flood when the game wants it to flood.
Yep, and it does. Good game. Haven't played that in years.
Oh yeah, same here. Really should play it again.
So, little BioShock deal over.
Little girl is in the taped off section of the place.
Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, the Megalodon shows up and just...
tries to bite her through the glass.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it through, thankfully.
Yeah. And
everybody is able to rush to her aid.
Yep. And then a whale shows up and, the lady scientist, I can't remember her name.
Just keep calling her lady scientist because I'm not really because we're not referring to anybody by their name in this movie.
Little girl has a name, but we're just going to call her little girl.
I mean, Jason Statham has a name, but we're just going to keep calling him Jason Statham.
Yep, because it's Jason Statham. It's like when we talked about Transformers, we used...
Shia LaBeouf.
Instead of Sam, it's Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. No, we never actually talked about Transformers yet.
We haven't.
Spoilers for that podcast.
Yeah, it'll probably come sometime in the mid-future, maybe late future. We don't know.
Perhaps even in the distant future, but probably not in the late past.
No. So they all find, they all come running towards her, to her aid, and like I said, they see a whale, and apparently there's originally 2 whales that they
Yeah, because the whale that they see is a juvenile that wouldn't have strayed far from its parent.
No. And
then we find out why it strayed from its parent.
Because the parent is probably dead.
The Meg!
The Meg just comes and gunsh.
But anyway, everybody knows that the Meg is a threat. They need to deal with it. And Rainn Wilson doesn't contact anybody about it because he figures, we're just going to go out and kill it and make a name for herself.
Yeah, pretty much. He's just the guy that has the money that is helping them out. So he's like a evil version of what's his name from Jurassic Park.
So Richard Attenborough's character.
Yeah.
Alan, no. Hammond.
Yeah, John Hammond.
So John Hammond.
Yes.
Not an evil version of John Hammond, just John Hammond.
Yes.
Admittedly, this character is closer to John Hammond movie version.
Yeah.
Compared to
book version.
In both ways. That's getting into trench territory, though. So let's move on.
Yep. So, like, I'll call someone to come and help, and it doesn't call anybody. Then he goes out, and actually the Megalodon comes and flips the boat over.
Yeah, they go out in a boat to hunt the Megalodon. Because I think at some point they got a tracker in it or something.
Yeah. They had Jason swim out to a certain, point where the Megalodon is coming towards it, and then he can finally he shoots a tracker
into its fin. And they manage to catch it. And everything seems to be fine. They're having a bit of fun.
Yep.
And then a second Megalodon shows up to eat the first.
A bigger Megalodon. I'm curious if that Megalodon that they actually killed, or poisoned, I should say. Oh, they had so much fun with that Megalodon. We were just like, okay. Just think you kind of put your head in.
One guy's wanting to get a picture, so it's like, and Jason, who's got the camera, is like, okay, put your head in it, so it looks like it's all right. Then one of the guys lowers the crane, so it looks like the Megalodon.
And then he falls into the water.
Dude falls.
And then DJ, one of the computer people. Actually, you're just like, yeah, no. He's like, give him some leg, yeah. Yeah.
DJ's a pretty fun character during the second half of the movie. Not so much during the first half, but he doesn't really get much time to shine.
No, he definitely gets time to shine this time around. And honestly, then the other Megalodon shows up and literally tackles the dead one. Kind of gets a little bit trapped on the boat itself, but he wiggles its way over, and the mass of his weight kind of starts to make the boat tip.
Yep.
And it literally flips the fuck over.
And everybody's scrambling to get to some safety.
Yep.
The lead scientist is gravely injured.
Yep. One of the other female scientists ends up getting knocked overboard by the crane that was holding the dead Megalodon, and she flops over, and she may or may not have broken ribs.
Did she die during this scene or later on? I keep forgetting.
She makes it to the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could have sworn she died at some point in the movie. Maybe I just lost interest. I mean, this is a fun movie, but
You were doing some other stuff.
Yeah. It's a fun turn off your brain kind of movie.
Yeah.
So forgive me.
They end up trying to get on. They actually get on the bottom half of the boat that is now sinking technically, So he finally does something and to get a helicopter.
Yeah, Rainn Wilson calls in a helicopter to come get them.
Mm-hmm.
And then once everybody's to safety, he at some point goes out to hunt the other megalodon with a boat and a helicopter.
Yep, and let's just say they think they see the megalodon.
They think they see the megalodon. They have the helicopter drop some depth charges to. They even decide to bomb it once it starts rising to the surface, just to try and ensure that it killed.
They killed a whale.
I love that Rainn Wilson tells one of his guys to go get one of the teeth for his office. It's like, you know what? Get one for yourself too. And then the guy comes back onto the boat and is like, this thing doesn't have any teeth.
He goes, I think we blew the shit out of a whale. And then, like, a bunch of little sharks, meaning normal-sized sharks, just come and just start eating up on the...
And those show up before they realize that they didn't kill the megalodon.
Yep.
So they book it.
Yep. They're like, what? Oh, shit. Drive.
So the boat drives off. Unfortunately for him, Rainn Wilson wasn't secured, so he falls off the boat.
Yep.
And since everybody's staring forward and there's a motor running, they don't hear that he has fallen in.
Yes.
So
the megalodon starts coming forward and takes a big chunk out of the whale. And he's just, oh, Christ. He starts climbing up on the whale. Once again, the megalodon comes around for another bite. This time, getting Roy Wilson.
Roy Wilson? Rainn Wilson.
Oh, did I say Roy?
Sound like you said Roy.
Oopsie doodle. So, they find out that he is dead.
Yep.
So he didn't call anyone. He didn't call.
Yeah, before heading out, he did tell people that he was going to contact local authorities because the megalodon was in an area where it was going to be heading towards China.
Yeah, and I believe that's where the big old swimming party.
Yeah,
thing
the whole beach scene that was a big part of the marketing for this movie.
And I know these are extremely side characters, but there's this little chunky boy that wants to go swimming, and his mom just says, no, there's too many people out there, or something. You're going to get lost, or something like that.
All right, don't go out too deep. And the entire time I was looking like, man, that kid's popsicle does not look like it's melting at all. I would have assumed that it would have melted in that heat.
Oh, yeah. It just like, gets out and it's just like on a floaty, just like, and then all of a sudden,
there's a wedding party on a boat.
Oh, yeah.
Dog jumps into the ocean.
I believe the dog jumps in while the megalodon is starting to show up.
Yes. So it's initially believed that the dog gets eaten by the megalodon, but the megalodon doesn't eat the dog. The dog lives.
Of course, you don't kill. You don't kill. Like Joe Bob Briggs says about one of the Friday the 13th movies. Kill all the people you want. Don't kill a dog. People get upset.
Shit, there's even a website dedicated to letting the audience know if the dog dies in the movie or not. Not this specific movie. Any movie that you look up.
Sorry, we keep bringing up other movies. But there were... And honestly, the megalodon wouldn't even taste how small that dog was.
Yeah. But anyway, the megalodon starts attacking the beachgoers.
Mm-hmm. There is a guy in a big ball.
Oh, a Zorb?
Yep. And as the megalodon is showing up, he is literally trampling or drowning people as he's pretty much running on the water in the orb. And then he kind of gets eaten by Megalodon reaching up to him as the orb pops.
Yeah.
pretty good scene. Just like
yeah.
the kid starts yelling for his mom, and then like, don't worry, the kid lived.
The kid lived because Jason and the team show up, and they managed to put down a lure that attracts the.
It was whale calls.
Yeah, they send out whale calls.
Like it's literally about to go and grab the batch where the batch of people where the kid was in, and then all of a sudden, boop, boop, turn around. the kid's like probably having half a heart attack, and then he tries to finish his
popsicle.
That thing would have been melted. So the group ends up.
Jason goes down in one of the mini subs and decides to take the fight to the thing. Mm-hmm. Slashes the thing with like one of the glider's wings.
Yes. The wedding party boat ends up rescuing the other crew. Okay, there's a scene. There's a scene. AJ can't swim. DJ can't swim, and the little girl has a life jacket on, and so does he. He's just flapping, and he's like,
"Dude, you've got a life jacket. Calm down." Just
like panicking. He's in a deep panic, and he's like, "Stop yelling! The monster is here." He's like, I got you. It's good. And then her mom pops up in her submarine. He's like, so they all climb up on the submarine, and then we don't see them get picked up by the wedding party boat, but they do.
Jason fights the thing with his glider, slashes it across the side or across the gut or something.
Yep.
And then the megalodon latches onto his thing, and his air pocket is
broken, so he's got to.
He gets a breath of air, kicks the thing out, takes a spike thing, and just ends up stabbing it right into the megalodon's eye, and ends up killing it.
Yep.
It's like, all right, this movie kind of kicks ass.
Well, he does get a respirator, so he's not just holding his breath the whole time. How cool Jason Statham is. He's still human.
And yet he still killed a giant shark.
Yep. Just like, literally grabs a hold of it and just like, spears it right in his eye.
He hammers it in. I think he gets it in the eye and then just starts hammering it until it finally reaches the brain.
Yep. And there's a, ooh. Then he just pretty much swims to the top.
And is saved by everybody else.
Yep. And the dog swims like.
And
the lady scientist kind of grabs him out in the middle of nowhere with her sub, and then he grabs a hold of the side of her thing instead of getting inside. Then he sees the dog swimming, and he's like, huh. And he kind of think he grabs the dog.
They get back onto the top of the party boat.
Yep.
Everybody's having a good time. Little girl and Jason are talking. Jason's like, after this, I need a long vacation. And she's like, I wonder if we can get mommy to
go along with you.
Because by this point, sparks have been flying between the lady scientist and Jason.
Yep.
And the little girl is totally on board with it.
Yeah, it's just like, maybe your mommy can come. And Statham actually just rises, like, flirting wise, like, raises his eyebrows.
And then the movie ends.
Yep, pretty much. I like this movie.
It was a fun movie.
Yes.
It did drag out at points, but
yeah.
Once you get to the action bits, it's intense.
Yeah.
And fun. And Jason Statham versus a giant prehistoric shark. I mean,
that could have been the title of the thing, and it would have made money.
Interesting fact, the entire time I read the book, I just imagined it was Jason Statham in the lead role.
There you go.
Mostly because the marketing for this movie had been out by the time I got around to reading the book. So, That was actually one of the reasons I even knew the book existed. So,
yeah. I liked this movie. The plot was interesting. Like, you're right, some scenes did kind of drag on a little too long, but
the CGI for the shark is great.
Fantastic.
Like, this was definitely a top-level movie.
Mm-hmm.
Popcorn flick.
Oh, yeah.
No real deeper message outside of the whole everybody complains about those who are lost rather than who are saved.
Yes. That's about it.
Yeah.
They killed the shark. Everyone got happy. Jason Statham possibly had a new girlfriend by the end of it. And possibly an adopted daughter.
I know that the sequel is scheduled to come out at some point in the near future. Can't remember offhand.
I think I did see a teaser trailer for it.
I haven't seen anything outside of people mentioning it occasionally. But it's definitely a movie I'd check out.
Yeah.
See how that compares to that book. I'm probably going to say that it doesn't have anything to do with that book.
All right, folks. I've been Tank.
I'm proud of it.
See ya.
Bye.